Okay, children, in today's class we will see the concept of issue of shares, types of shares issued by a company, and in detail about equity shares. The capital obtained by issue of shares is known as share capital. And this share capital source of fund, it's a long-term finance for an organization, and it is also called as owner's fund. What is the meaning of a share? The capital of a company is divided into small units, and each unit is called share. Each share has got a nominal value, and this nominal value we can even call it as face value. You can understand this with an example. Assume that the capital of a company is rupees 1 lakh, and this 1 lakh is divided into 1000 units. The value of each unit is share. Nominal value of the share is calculated by using the formula total capital divided by number of shares. So here in this example, 1 lakh divided by number of shares, here it is 1000, which is coming up to rupees 100, which is the face value. A public company is entitled to issue shares and collect the capital from the public. So public company, as per Companies Act 1956, is authorized to issue two types of shares. What are they? Number one is equity shares and number two is preference shares. Now let's see what is the meaning of equity shares. Equity shares, as per the meaning given by the Companies Act, those shares which are not preference shares, they are called equity shares. The other name for equity shares are ordinary shares. And equity shares, it is the most important source of raising long-term funds of a company. Equity shares represent ownership of a company also. Whoever is purchasing equity shares, they are called as equity shareholders and they are the joint owners of the company. The capital collected through issue of equity shares, it is also called equity share capital or ownership capital, or it is even called as ownership funds. Let's see some features of equity shares. Equity share capital to be issued by every company, and it is a prerequisite for creation of a company. Equity shareholders are real owners of the company, and very important feature of equity share is equity shareholders do not get any fixed rate of dividend. So the dividend amount what they are getting, it varies from year to year depending upon the earnings of the company. And they are even referred as residual owners. The reason is, once the company is closed or wound up, the assets will be realized. Initially, all the creditors, outside liabilities are paid off. Then outside loan like bank loan, debentures, they are paid off. Then comes if the company has issued preference shares, preference shareholders are paid first. And finally, whatever be the amount remaining, that will be given to the equity shareholders. So the residual amount will be the amount repayable to the equity shareholders. That is why they are called as residual owners. Related to their liability of equity shareholders, it is limited. What is the meaning of limited liability? Their liability is limited up to, it is limited to the face value of the shares purchased by each shareholder. For example, if I have purchased 5 shares, each worth 100 rupees, under such circumstances, my liability to the company is to pay only 500 rupees. Even if the company is going at loss, or even if the company needs it is having more liability, I will be asked to pay only this much 500 rupees. Even I am having lot of personal assets, my liability is limited only to the extent of rupees 500. And one of the other features of equity shareholders, they are the real owners of the company and they have lot of voting rights. They have the right to control the management of the company. They have the right to participate in the management of the company. And these equity shareholders, some of the representatives, they act as a board of directors and they run the company on behalf of the remaining shareholders. I have attached a link. Browse this link and learn more about equity shares as well as preference shares. In order to test your learning skill in this presentation, I have added some evaluation questions. Go through the PPT once or twice and find out the answers for these questions. The questions are: what is a share? What are the two types of shares issued by a public company? Why are equity shareholders called residual owners? Do equity shareholders get fixed rate of dividend? I hope you enjoyed this session. It is a demo PPT for flipped classroom which will induce self-learning among the children. Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you.